Welcome everyone to our daily Forex market analysis call, and this is in preparation for trading on March the 2nd, 2018. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. And so it looks like Euro wants to drop. So I am going to take a trade in here as well. And what I'm going to do with the Euro is move the stop above the previous high here. And then I'm going to pull it closer. And my take profit, I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so here's my Euro Yen trade. So it's at 130.23 is my entry price. Oh, looks like my stop didn't quite get picked up. So my stop's a little big at the moment. So I'm putting my stop at 130.81 and my take profit target is at 129.82. And I'm just gonna let it run. I'm gonna pull my stop closer here. So I'm just going to let it run. We'll keep an eye on it to see how it goes. Looks like the yen crosses may be wanting to come down. And that's why I am taking this trade. Okay, so I won't get a chance to post this in the Skype. So you guys just have a look at it. Look at what we're doing here. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on it. So let's get back to what we need to do here. So we'll start off with our calendar as usual, and just need to bring it up here. Oh, the important thing from a fundamentals perspective, actually, or the news perspective, tomorrow, the big thing is we have Prime Minister Theresa May speaking, and she's going to talk about Brexit. And that will be very important because so today we saw that British pound sort of went sideways. And one of the reasons for that is because market is waiting on the speech, on Prime Minister Theresa May's speech. And I'm expecting volatility in the market as a result of that because she's going to talk about Brexit. And when they talk about Brexit, we are going to see a lot of volatility in the market. There will be this sentimental, emotional reaction to what she has to say, and as a result of that, I'm expecting volatility. It could go either way. It just depends on what she comes out with. If she comes and say that Brexit negotiations are going really well and they'll be able to get access to the market, the European market, that is positive for British pound, and we're likely to see price go with that. So price to like British pound to rise, and if there is any sort of concerns around Brexit, that will be negative for the British pound. Okay, so it looks like the reason Japanese yen, we have the CPI data come in positive, which is usually positive for Japanese yen or any currency. So that's why we're seeing that drop in yen crosses, which is good. Okay, so that's Prime Minister Theresa May speaking is the main event tomorrow. There is no time for that. So I'm staying away from any British pound crosses because there's no timeline as to when she will be speaking. And that's a problem. It will be sometime in the London session tomorrow. So keep that in mind. And then we also have construction PMI numbers. These are leading indicators leading into retail sales. So this will be important. And we have Bank of Governor Carney speaking. So a lot of stuff going on for the British pound. So do expect volatility for that. And then we have GDP numbers for Canada. Again, so this will be important for Canadian dollar, but not a ton of news in terms of the US here. We just have revised consumer sentiment number. So again, just around British pound and euro, there will be volatility. So because Brexit impacts both of those countries, that's why we could see volatility in both currencies. So keep that in mind. Now going into our technical analysis here, from our daily perspective, we didn't see a whole lot with euro. we had a bullish candle close, a small bullish candle close, but regardless, bullish candle close. So this is a bullish pin bar. So we could see the price go up. But overall, the bias for euro is to the downside. But because we do have this, we could get some positive sentiment with Brexit or Theresa May's speech. As a result of that, this could get pushed up. So with this one, I am looking for price to go back into this 138.50 level here. So that would be the level I would keep an eye on. So looking for price to go up, and then we may see something like that, because we have two pin bars here and multiple pins here. Price had trouble getting through this point, so I'm expecting price to have a reaction at that level. So here the bias is to the upside, but overall bias is to the downside. So immediate bias will be to the upside for. Sorry, this is pound dollar. I thought it was euro. Pound dollar. So the immediate bias will be to the upside, especially with Theresa May's speech here. And with the euro here, the daily is quite bullish actually. So I'm looking for price to move up higher. We are into resistance right here. So we would have to be mindful of that. But the next level that I'm looking for price to go to is a 123.67 level right over there. But the price would have to go to the other side of 122.80. If it stays below 122.80, then we could see the price come back and drop. But right now, that's a bullish engulfing candle. And as a result of that, I'm looking for price to move up higher into 123.50 area here. So 123.50 will be the target to the upside. But again, this is a strong support and resistance at 122.80. So price would have to clear that to get to the other side. So we have had this quite a bullish move here. It's an inefficient move, and inefficient moves do tend to get filled. That's why it's very important to see that the price goes to the other side of 122.80 level, because so two scenarios here. So one is that we have a bullish move, price consolidates here, and then just goes higher like that. So this is my first case scenario. Second case is price just consolidates here, is not able to break above, and then we are likely to see something like that. Because of the volatility and other stuff, like because of the news events for tomorrow, I would be open to either side of this move. So we'll just need to keep an eye to see what it does. Aussie here, we have had a pullback here as well, but overall Aussie is still in the downtrend. So for this one, we could see price go into this 77.90 or even 7800 level. But it doesn't look, it's still closed with the bearish candle close. So the sellers still have some pressure on this. So I'm not overly bullish on this one. So we could see a drop for that, and the target would be just the bottom of the pin over here. So we could just see the price come and test this pin and this previous high of the day for today, and then drop back into the 77.10 level. So I'm looking for price to come back lower here into 77.10 level. So looking at our 1 hour chart here, we are holding above the pivot point, but we are into this previous support and resistance level, which is also our R1 level. And if price holds below this level, then I'm looking for price to come back into the bottom here, 77.10 level. So Aussie is still bearish here. New Zealand dollar, so New Zealand dollar has closed bullish actually. So based on the bullish candle close here, this could push up higher into the top here. 7,300 level will be the target. But again, because we are into resistance right over here into the previous pin, if the price is not able to go to the other side of it, we could see price do this, essentially come back, test the bottom of this pin, and then drop from there. So it would be important to see what price does at 72.80 level. If it breaks to the other side, then I'm looking for price to go into 7,300 and even potentially higher into 7,340 level. But if it holds below here, below 72.80 level, then it could come down. But the candle close here for New Zealand is bullish. So between Aussie and New Zealand is more bullish at this point. So looking at the 1 hour, this is where we are into R1 here, and we have support and resistance from our previous support and resistance here. So this will be sort of that inflection point. If price stays below, then we could see the price come back. So this could be a pullback for another move to the downside. However, because it's bullish candle close, we have to wait for that price to cross to the other side, and then it could continue higher. So we'll just have to watch this one. Dollar CAD here, dollar CAD, we have a pin bar on top here. So price went and tested this previous level that we were watching into 12900, well, 128.95. So it didn't quite get all the way to the top here, but into the previous support and resistance area. And we have a pin bar here. So even though it is small, bullish candle here, overall my bias here is to the downside. So this looks like it could drop back into this 127.64 level, back into the support and resistance, which is right over here. So this would be, again, with the commodity currencies, it doesn't look like we have a very clear direction. So, but for now, we could see a pullback here. So 127.60 would be the target. Bias is to the downside on this. And this is what we have. Drop, price pulls back into the pivot point, or if it stays below the pivot point here, we could see price come back into this previous support and resistance level. And so that's the bias for that. Euro Swiss franc, not a whole lot going on. It's just been going back and forth into this, in this small, very small range. So not looking for price to do much here. We may just see price either come back towards the bottom of the range, or it could go and test the high here, 1.1580 level. Again, probably not the best pair to trade because there is no clear direction. This has been sideways the entire time. And if you take a look at the weekly, as we can see for the last 3 weeks, really, or 4 weeks, this is where price has traded. So not the best one to trade at this point. If it doesn't go above 1.1560 here, which it hasn't for the last number of days, then we could just see price come back towards the bottom here, which will be 1.1480 level. Pound Swiss franc here, this one has been bearish for the last 3 days. We have a bearish pin bar, which means we could see a drop into 1.2900 level. Now, again, with the all British pound crosses, I would just be careful because of the news with Theresa May's speech, Bank of England. All this news could just, drive the market or drive market volatility. As a result, we could see price go crazy. But overall, based on the daily close, the bias is to the downside into 12900 level. Dollar Swiss franc here. We did go high. Yesterday, we talked about this support and resistance level. It went through it and then came back and closed below. So this is a very nice bearish pin bar here. Looking for price to drop. The first target would be 93.50-ish level back into this previous support and resistance. So this is bearish, looking for dollar Swiss franc to drop into 93.50 level here. And then going into our dollar crosses. So we have a bearish candle close for our pound yen here. Again, with this, because it is a bearish candle close, I am looking for price to drop. And we had talked about this level getting filled. So that's what it looks like. We could get into this 145.20 level. So again, be mindful because we will have volatility in British pound tomorrow. So the bias for pound yen is to the downside. Euro yen here, daily candle close is quite neutral, but we do have this big pin here. Overall, the bias is to the downside, but the big pin here, now this one here, there is this green candle close as well because Euro has kind of held up today. but but overall bias is to the downside. So I am expecting price to drop here. And with this one, the first target would be 129.70 level. And then the next target would be 129.30 level back into these pins. So bias is to the downside. And this is kind of currently where we are. So we have this kind of a head shoulders pattern here and looking for just price to drop back into this and then further into 129.30-ish level. So this is Euro Yen. So this is one of the trades that I am currently in. So this was where price was reacting. It came into this previous high. So it's just looking for price to come back down into this level, 129.80, right into the bottom here. So I'll keep an eye on this. I am looking for price to drop here. So that's Euro Yen biases to the downside. Aussie Yen as well. We have had a bearish candle close. So looking for price to go into this 81.60 level. Overall, the bias is to the downside. We have a very bearish candle close. So looking for this to drop. Dollar Yen as well. This is another trade that I'm in. It is moving. So the daily bias, we had a big candle close to the downside here. Price pulled back into this previous support and resistance, and now it's dropping. So I'm looking for price to drop here as well. The target will be 105.50 level right over here. So I'm just looking for price to drop further. So looking at the 1 hour perspective here, as we can see, price went to test this previous level at 106.20-ish level or 30. And then it's dropping from there. And I'm looking for price to go into this S2 level, which is 105.50 level. So I am looking for price to drop here as well. So the bias for dollar yen is to the downside. CAD yen here, this one as well had a bearish candle close. And now I'm looking for price to drop. So with this one, we do need to back out a bit. And in terms of next level, the first one would be 81.80 level, which is coming right from here. So 81.80 level will be the one to watch, or the target level to the downside. So CAD yen bias is to the downside. New Zealand yen here, the bias is to the downside because overall we are moving lower. So trend is to the downside. But this one, we did have a pin bar here, but the candle close was a little bit bullish and we saw that the price went up a little bit higher. So here, this is what it looks like. We had an evening star formation on R1 and price dropped. Then it went and tested this previous level here, right into the support and resistance area. And now it looks like it is dropping. But considering or comparing the different commodity currencies, I think New Zealand dollar has been quite strong. And hence we saw this pullback. Just New Zealand dollar has been strong, which has pushed this one up as well. So the bias for New Zealand dollar is also to the downside. And the target for this would be 76.35 level here, or 76.30. That will be the target for that. So again, bias is to the downside. So just quickly looking at, so this is the one trade that I'm in, and then I am in dollar yen. So basically what I did was I split my positions between the two. I have $6,000 or $6,700, so I can trade 6 mini lots. I did 3 in one and 3 in the other. So this way it spreads out the risk a little bit if either of those currencies, because one is US dollar and one is the risk currency. If either one turns positions, the other one could still play out. So that's what I'm looking at. I will monitor this trade for a bit here. So my goal would be to move the stop loss to break even as quickly as possible here. So I'm just going to change this to points so I can see. So I'm about 15 pips in profit for dollar yen. So hopefully I'll be able to move this into break even quickly, hopefully, and then I can let it just run so I don't have to worry about it so much. So we'll see how it goes. If I am awake and monitoring the position, I will put a thing in the Skype. but otherwise just keep an eye on it if you're monitoring it as well, and we'll see how that goes. So you guys have a wonderful evening. There is no trade room tonight, but tomorrow we will have our trade room session at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and we'll take a look at the new platform. We're just switching over from one platform to another, so I'll do a walkthrough of that, and we'll start using that platform going forward. All right, any questions before we wrap it up? Okay, if not, we'll call it a wrap. You guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you in the morning then. Bye for now.